Welcome to Let's Play Rule the Waves 3 as Germany, starting in 1935. It's October 1947, and some of the eagle-eyed of you might notice there's something slightly different. I'm about to have 3 weeks of building work done to the ground floor of my house, including new flooring pretty much everywhere, and a new kitchen and stuff. 3 weeks. That's what the builders said. Let's hope that's true. Obviously, I'm halfway through dismantling my study, which means that this computer is going to have to be packed away, and so you're going to be missing me for a few weeks whilst things get sorted out. Sorry about that, but unavoidable. I'm already feeling it, and it's not due to start till next Monday. Still, let's press on with what really matters. 10 months into the war, we're blockaded. They're suffering from food shortages. One of you suggested that Britain and France might be breaking soon. And, you know, if I can keep winning battles and keep this unrest down to 6, then that could be a thing. You know, by the winter, maybe into January, February 1948, yeah, it's very possible that Britain and France may cave in. It would be fabulous if I could do an invasion before they collapse, but of course you can't invade whilst you're blockaded. So I have to keep on chipping away with my fleet to bring down that really very substantial superiority of Britain and France against me and Italy and Japan. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a tall order. I think my likely outcome is that I can win through my submarine force, starving them into peace, but it would be a fairly modest peace, and I certainly can't capture anything. Still, a win is a win. We have a couple of, if I go to the division editor, a couple of appointments that need doing. So crucially, Flug 1, the first carrier division, needs a new admiral, as well as the first torpedo boat division, so which is very much a secondary one. I've had a look at my officers, and particularly I've had a look at my officers around aviation, and I have 2 Fregatten captains, one in charge of the München and one in charge of the Leipzig, who are both average, which is fine, and both aviators. And you'd think that the wise thing to do would be to promote one of them to be a full captain and give them to the Passeval and promote the Passeval's average aviator into being the Flug first rear admiral. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work like that. If I promote one of these guys, there is a distinct possibility that they lose their special ability. So sadly, I can't easily do that. Let's bring this back and see what the working choice is to assign a commander. And the commander here for a division is a rear admiral. So we have all these unknowns. We have a below average and another below average, obviously not interested in them. We have this chap who is in charge of Flug 2. So, okay, I'm pretty happy with that. This chap and this chap. Timid does not sound like a good... I don't know, is timid for a carrier force a bad thing? Because actually we don't want the carriers to be going into battle. We want them hanging back and protecting the carrier. So actually, having discounted him because he's timid, he's actually an average ability. So that might well be an interesting thing. If it's not him, then it really has to be one of these unknowns. So yeah, I'm going to go for the timid guy for his average abilities. And let's select them. And then down here, let's assign, so I think all of the above averages are all taken. So there's plenty of averages to choose from. So disciplinarian doesn't sound fantastic. I certainly wouldn't want to serve underneath one. The rest are all taken. So Fullich, oh no, he's in there. Brunnen, okay, let's go for him. And that's sorted. And if we just go to the ships, all the ships have commanders, so that's fine. Right, that's that sorted. Let's have a look at the submarines. We are still at 104. I'm just interested in when the coastal submarines are due. Okay, so we have 1, 2, and 3 this turn, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 next month, and then we're into full submarines, which is great because we can then start to push them into areas of the wider world. Obviously, this one, U-166, finished early last turn, which is why we had 5 submarines appear last turn, which is nice. We have 3 of the battlecruisers in repair, so we only have the Von der Tann this month. We saw with the Reichsgraf that that's not a reason to hide away necessarily. We also have the Gneisenau in repair and the Bremen. And then down in the carriers, we have the Graf Zeppelin, which ate up a torpedo last time. I just want to have a look at the air groups, because obviously the carriers have been in a lot of combat. So Graf Zeppelin is missing 1 and is out of action. Peter Strasser is fine. Von Richthofen is missing 3. All right, so von Passeval is missing 10, and so is the Liefenthal as well. So probably wise to rest the carriers this turn. So this might be a quick turn. I'm going to see my aircraft types. My figures for the number of production doesn't seem to be working, and I have another little problem. I've had it suggested to me from Laxon and others to reinstall. So probably when I rebuild my study, I'll put this all together and I'll reinstall it and see if that fixes it. And if not, then I'll have to raise a bug fix. Fighter request in progress. So a replacement for the Blossom Voom 147, which dates from 1942. So a better fighter. And then after a better fighter, I'm not bothered for the float plane. Naval patrol, I'm not super bothered either. The medium bomber seems like a candidate, but we'll be moving into 1948. Keeping abreast of the jet fighters would seem to be the way of the future. Let me just see how we are going. So where are we? So here we are with Henschel, and it's still the fastest. It's still the longest ranged. It's still the most maneuverable and toughest. Bomb is fine. Yep. And it's average. So good news, it's still the best. Bad news, it's not the best by like a massive amount. So I think pushing forward on the light jet or maybe on the medium bomber would be the way of the future. So that's where we're up to. Let's go and press the big button and see what comes up next. So bearing in mind that we only have 1 battlecruiser and we want to rest our carriers to let their air groups go back up to max, let's press this and see what we get. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm all right with that. I was going to say the French are probably going to decline, but maybe not. Our first battle in the Mediterranean. Let's see what we've got going here. So expected enemy forces, a carrier, a heavy cruiser, and a light cruiser and a destroyer against our 2 light cruisers and 3 destroyers. So with the carrier and the geographic positioning being very far from our Greek bases, I think I'm going to say no. I particularly like this no decline penalty intelligence advantage. Haven't seen that one before. Okay, so I will decline it. Carrier battle in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the Bay of Biscay. This seems very declinable, if I'm allowed to decline it. Yeah, I think so. Expected enemy forces, a battlecruiser, 1 carrier, 5 light carriers. I mean, it's tempting. Okay, so if this was true, we would have a considerable... Oh, no, we wouldn't. God, I'm confused now. So yeah, we've got 4 of our 5 carriers, and they would have 1 carrier and 5 CP. No, I said I was going to rest my carriers. I'm going to rest my carriers. Small engagement off Tunisia, back to the Med. Yeah, expected a battleship and a battlecruiser. That's a definite decline. I think that was pretty easy. And that's it for the month. So 3 submarines commissioned because 1 submarine was commissioned a month early. A new fighter prototype. Okay, so this will be interesting. Right. So the stats are pretty similar, but the Focke-Wulf Kurt tank pulling it out of the bag again. It's only 2 miles an hour less than the Dornier, but it's over 50, 60 miles further range, which I'm very much liking. Everything else is identical. And yeah, so we will go with that one. Thank you very much. So 400 miles an hour. And a new light jet fighter as a private venture. Ooh, well, let's see what this one is. Ooh, this is a tough choice. This is a tough choice. So yeah, it's 15 miles an hour more fast than the Henschel. But its range is less. Now, 250 is kind of like my normal default maximum range. So I could argue that losing that little bit of extra range isn't so bad. And it's a bit more maneuverable and it's a bit more tough. So I'm going to say yes, because it feels like the extra maneuverability and the extra toughness and the extra speed combined. So individually, they're all small, but 3 of them all together, despite the loss of range, does seem worth having. So come on down, Heinkel 178. Ooh, we've sunk a French AV ship. Nice. That's 1 less helicopter carrier for the future. We've lost a sub, and a 2nd sub, and a 3rd sub. We've destroyed a British sub and a French sub. Little indecisive engagement. And if we bring the month over, we've lost another sub due to operational stuff. So we've actually gone down to 103. So this keeps our loss ratio at 5.6, 5.7 transports for every U-boat lost. So no great change there. Obviously, they're still blockading us. A little bit of effort from the Japanese. Thank you very much. So, rumours of war weariness and protests in Great Britain. Liking the sound of that one. Not seeing anything else. A couple of submarines built with shortened times, which is nice. So that'll be brought forward by a month, just when we're down by 1. A new British battlecruiser, Boo. No messages from the French. So some promotions to Rear Admiral going on. So we'll have to have a little look at what that's going to do. French and the Soviet Union decreased their tensions. But the Soviet Union doesn't seem to be doing anything too much. British making some inventions. Boo. We currently have an edge in electronic warfare. Oh, yes, please. That sounds good. And yep, that's all the news fit for anything. Let's just check the research. Right, so we have this missile countermeasures, early missile jamming. That definitely needs to be high. Yeah, I'm pretty good with everything else there. I just wanted to have a look at my aircraft types with our new fighter in development, and just look, if I bring up the obsolete ones. Yeah, that's a giant leap. So currently our secondary fighter is the Blossom Voom with only 279 miles an hour compared to this new Focke-Wulf at 400 miles an hour. So that's going to make a big difference. Now we've got 2 planes in development. Can I request a new medium bomber? Because the medium bomber is poor in its stuff. I mean, maximum speed, maximum speed of our medium bomber is 406. It's actually slightly faster than our turbopropped fighter. So yeah, that might be a thing. So it's actually quite good performance if we ignore, and it's a 1947 design. So yeah. Could we get anything more out of a new float plane? I mean, I'd hate to be flying around in one. Or this old naval patrol aircraft. Or this old dive bomber. They all seem reasonable options. Let's see if we can request a new dive bomber. And ranges now isn't really a thing. Speed as ever. Toughness is currently only 8. So perhaps we'll go for toughness. I'm assuming that it'll be able to do air-to-surface missiles and all of that kind of stuff perfectly fine. So let's see. Yeah, okay. So that's requested a new dive bomber design. So yeah, pushing forward. Yeah, this medium bomber is fine, except for its poor reliability. So shame about that. Yeah, weird that it's faster than the actual new fighter. Oh, well, so we might be, even with the development of this in 4 months' time, we may well be reducing the number available. I'm now getting production figures, which is good to see. So yes, okay, and yeah, monthly balance down to minus 2,000. Well, that's a great relief. So everybody, after a month's rest, everybody is feeling much better. There's only this these 2, in fact. That reminds me. So these 2 rebuilds, I did want, and there's another 6 months to go on all of them. I did want to do another destroyer because that seemed quite sweet. So let's see if we can rebuild ships is the one I want. So yeah, it's this 47A. Get that one going as well. Okay, and then we might do another one. I don't want to take too many in service because these are my best destroyers. We do need some new captains. So let's just assign a commander from our fregatten captains. And yep, so we only have either below ability, below average, or we have men of mystery. So let's have Holman and see how he turns out in the end. And then up here, we have the Graf Stauffenberg. And let's see if we can assign a commander for him as well. So again, all of the above averages are occupied. So we have a choice of poor admin. That doesn't sound like a good thing. Average, disciplinarian. I just don't like the sound of a disciplinarian. And another just straight. So 3 straightforward averages to do. So let's have Ruppelt and see how he works out. And let's just have a look at the division editor. Oh yes, there's quite a few here as well. So let's have a look at some of these people. Assign commander. So again, sort by ability. So we only have 1 above average, average, 1 low, below, and an incompetent. So again, it's going to have to be a man of mystery. So let's have Rear Admiral Jensen. And then we have the 3rd torpedoes and the 11th destroyer. So the 11th destroyer is quite important. So let's give them first pick. Assign a commander. Let's just do it this way, shall we? Again, so these are captains or frigate and captains. We can do either. So they're all busy. So that pushes it down to the averages, below average, a wildly incompetent, and a wide selection of men of mystery. Okay, let's pick an average. So, yep, let's do NEEP, if that's, or NIP. And then the 3rd, and assign a commander. And again, let's have dollar. Unfortunate name. And close. Right, so we're all commanding officer up and good to go. Unrest still at 6. I'm I know it was a quiet month, but sometimes you just have to take an operational pause when it's been intense. So next month in December, the anniversary of the start of the war, we can put the foot back down on the accelerator and get moving again. So join me next time. Thank you very much for watching.